Hello, everyone. My name is John Maddox. And the title of this video today, I've actually created my own channel here on YouTube. I've been on everybody else's channel, just so you know. So the title of this video is Who the F is John Maddox? And the reason why I decided to create my channel and to start posting videos, number one, I used to be one of the top deadlifters in the country. And if there's, people that have run into me at the gym there in Royal Oak, Michigan, I know you just think, man, this is the old dude that just likes to lift some crazy heavy weight. But this guy's actually been through a lot. I actually did my first meet in 1987. And by 1998, I had the eighth biggest deadlift in the country. So this is prior to YouTube, of course. So in 1998, I tore a rotator cuff and I retired for 5 years till the late and great Craig Terry recruited and brought me back. So if you pay attention to my channel, I actually have a picture of Craig and I winning the two-man deadlift in 1995. And actually, if you look at the header, I actually have the top 10 list from the results from 1998 showing my number 8 deadlift in the country. And at the 1998, back then it would have been the USAPL. They changed their name in 1997. Prior to that, they had the American Drug-Free Powerlifting Association. And so what's funny is you look at this history, right? They changed their name in 1997 because they wanted to join the IPF, and now they've been kicked out of the IPF. So what I'm going to do here is what I learned how to do early on. I'm a drug-free athlete. I've been drug tested so many times. I even snuck in 2009 and won my 7th national deadlifting championship. So just so you know, I've won the 1990 USPF at 181 National Deadlifting Championships. And all this stuff is in Power Lifted USA magazine. I got no reason to lie because you literally can go back and get the magazines if you want to. If you can track them down, and all the meets are in there. All right. So, and I won the 1991 NASA National Deadlifting Championships at 181. I was tested at that meet. I won the 1994 ADFPA, right? That's before the name change. I won their national deadlifting title. In 1995, I got second to Chad Holmes. He deadlifted 755 at that meet, which was pretty impressive at the time. But there was a two-man event, and the late and great Craig Terry, my longtime training partner, he's passed away 12 years ago now. He and I won the two-man competition that year, and we out deadlifted the next tandem group by 200 pounds. The picture there on my profile, I can't remember if that's the 1300 or not, but we ended up with 1300. We did 1100, we went 1200, we went 1300, and that was probably the funnest part of the whole event, right? And then in 1996, I won the ADFPA National Deadlifting Championships. 1997, I won it again. And in 1998, I won it at that time for my 6th national deadlifting title. And this would have been at the time, what would that be for me? Because I have 7 overall, back off 2, that's 5. So it would have been my 4th at the time national title with the ADFPA/USAPL. Right after that meet, I tore my rotator cuff. But what's fun about that meet is I did attempt the 760 deadlift. I didn't realize at the time that a month earlier, Tony Harris actually pulled 767. You can see he's on the list too, right above me. So there's 4 drug-free guys in that top 10 list, I being one of them for the deadlift. I hated equipment, so I only concentrated on deadlift meets. So if you see a total for me going back in Powerlifting USA, it's because I had to do a total to go to a national meet. Back in the day when I realized that the equipment sucked, I just did bodybuilding for squats and my upper body type stuff. And I just concentrated on the deadlift and competing in deadlift meets. I didn't really understand my leverages back then. But one of the things that I learned by 1990 was how to not to overtrain. And so I guess one of the biggest things that I see now from watching people online and seeing everything that's being done, I don't think people understand how easy it is to overtrain. So in 2009, when I did my comeback, that was, a meet without a big turnout because, the market collapsed the year before. So that was the only meet I never had any competition in my weight class. I was actually 43 at the time, so I won the Open and I won the Masters. And I deadlifted 705, and it's the lightest I was ever weighing, 705, because I finally got my rotator cuff surgery fixed and prepared for that meet. So I was a little lighter because of that. But yeah, the lightest I ever was when I deadlifted 705 pounds. I think I only weighed about 212 or 213, something like that. But that test, there was only two guys tested at that meet. It was the guy who got best lifter, and it was me. So, like I said, I don't ever consider myself a great deadlifter, but for some reason I was at the right place at the right time, and I won a lot of meets. So from 1990 to 1998, I won every single meet I was in, except for getting my second place at the 1995 ADFPA National Deadlifting Championships. So it doesn't matter if it was a regional meet, if it was a local meet. If you go back in Power of Balloon Sand, like I said, I'm talking deadlifting meets. I won every single one. So my statistics, which is funny and it's going to make you laugh, because I never ever considered myself a great deadlifter. Because obviously, if you look at the big guys in super heavy and what they're lifting at the time, I always compared myself to the best. I never really just looked at my weight class or looked at me as a drug-free athlete. Like back in the day, the reason why I could make weight at 181 is my father was a roofing contractor. And so you tear roofs off all summer, and it's a great way to lose weight, and be able to make weight for a competition. So as soon as I started working as a CPA, my weight started going up, and then my lifts obviously started going up too. So the first time I actually deadlifted 700 pounds was in 1994. And that's also interesting about me putting this video out here, because that's like 30 years. It's 30 years now from the first time I deadlifted 700 pounds. And so far, I've done it in my 20s. I've done it and this is at meets, in my 30s and in my 40s, right? So this is being judged in a meet, drug tested. I've been drug tested many, many, many times. I do not take any steroids. I used them for 1 year when I was 18 to 19, saw the side effects, and I swore I'd never take them again. So even though I did try them, they have side effects, and people need to understand that. So, but if you look at podiums, I actually podiumed on my very first meet. Tearing roofs off helps you to develop a very strong lower back. So my podiums in my whole deadlifting career, this is deadlifting meets only, 100%. I've never not been on a podium in any meet that I've ever competed in. My first place at national meets, right, is 87.5%. That's winning the meet. So 87. So I've won 7 out of the 8 national deadlifting meets that I competed in, and the other one that I didn't win, I got second, and then I still got out of there with the winner of the tandem deadlift with Craig Terry. That was in 1995. So, and like I said, it doesn't really make any sense that I've won as many meets as I have. So, and then of course, after 1998, it is just a ton of injuries, fighting my way back to the top. I keep telling myself, because what the biggest thing that's frustrated me is never doing an 800-pound deadlift. And I've always had this thing, it's like I stopped too early. Back in, the late 90s, I was one of the top deadlifters, whether you're drug-free or not. I mean, I missed 760 at the 1998 meet. If you look at the list, that would have tied for third. And I was tripling 705 back then. I was doubling 730. I was capable of it. I just didn't get it that day. All right. But what was cool, and I think I actually didn't talk about this when I was referring to the 1998 meet, that was the comeback for Jim Cash. Jim Cash, one of the legendary deadlifters in the 220-pound weight class. At the time I lifted against him, he held the biggest conventional deadlift in the 220-pound class with 860 pounds. The only guy that out deadlifted at the time was Ed Cohn, who did it sumo. I don't believe Ed Cohn ever out conventionally deadlifted him at the 220-pound weight class. And you can see when you look at the results, Ed Cohn moved up to 242 that year, and that's when he put up his 2,460-pound total, which helped me move up a spot, right? So thanks, Ed, for moving up to 242. So anyways, yeah, I had a chance to compete against one of the greatest deadlifters ever. And like I said, I really survived that meet because he had the winning deadlift. My second attempt was 735. He made weight at both 242 and 220. So if you look at Powerlifting USA and you look at the results, they show him at 242, but he actually made weight at both weight classes, and he was on the podium and he got the third place award at 220. So he made weight in both. I and the guy at 242 both deadlifted 735. So he needed a 740-pound deadlift to win the meet. He had it up past his knee. He just could not lock it out the last 2 inches. So I literally thought I was going to have another, a second place, but I ended up coming out ahead. So I can say I actually beat one of the greatest deadlifters in the world, which is actually pretty cool. So what I'm going to do here on this channel is I'm going to lay out a bunch of videos. All right. And one of the things, I've never really told people how I train. And if people understood how I train and the fact that I hardly train, I mean, I train twice a week right now. And I'll talk about what I did back in the 90s. But by 1990, I realized for a drug-free athlete, the number one thing that you can do is not overtrain. And I even use the term sometimes intentionally undertrain. So, it's time for me to start telling my secrets to the world. All right. Especially because I think there's so many influencers out there. First of all, they're not clean. All right. I've passed a zillion drug tests. All right. When you win as many meets as I have in the USAPL, you get drug tested at every single meet. And like I said, in 2009, they only tested two guys. It was me and the guy who got best lifter. So, and it was posted on the USAPL website. So if they still go back to 2009, you're going to see my drug test is actually on there. I'm a real drug-free athlete. So I made a decision probably about 3 years ago to gain the weight, to actually get up to 250 plus pounds and actually break the 800-pound record, which I should have did back in the 90s. I should have been the first drug-free athlete in the 220-pound class to deadlift 800 pounds. Tony Harris ended up being the guy to do it. So, but in 1998, when I attempted 760, that was an attempt at the second biggest deadlift ever in the 220-pound class in the USAPL at that time, which is actually pretty cool. Tony Harris did the biggest. As I said, Chad Holmes did 755, which technically was the second. So if you look at the top deadlift, which is posted in my banner, right, it was like 777 that year. And I was, missed the 760. So with my peers, I was right up there with them. And like I said, I had no issues getting stronger, right? If it wasn't for me tearing my rotator cuff, my public accounting and career, that's what I do for a living, CPA. So that started to take off. And I literally took 5 years off at that point. And then my late and great friend Craig Terry drug my ass back in the gym around 2003. And what's going to be interesting as we start moving forward here, guess who I met in 2003 when I got dragged back in the gym? Mike Israetel, right? The fitness influencers out there now. So it's pretty interesting. So with some of my videos, I'll talk a little bit about Mike. Maybe the biggest thing I'll talk about is I don't think Mike really understands how Mike Mentzer's training works. I'm a big advocate of Mike Mentzer. I literally train just like the guy, and I won 7 national titles doing it. But a lot of people don't understand how to actually train like Mike Mentzer, right? It's a unique way to do it, and everyone can kind of customizes it to themselves. So anyways, what you're going to see for me, right, as I put videos, I'm going to try to put them out weekly for you. I'll try to go through the comments. I'm not someone who's going to do videos to show you how to specifically do an exercise. All right. I may update you on stuff. I'm old school like Dorian Yates. I'd rather hide out and not let anyone know what I'm doing and then show up at the meet and actually surprise people. So if there are people in there trying to say, hey, what's going on with John? I will tell you right now, I could probably deadlift 800 pounds at this point in time. And I'm going to be 58 here in a couple of weeks. So I believe I'm probably one of the oldest, if not the oldest human being on this planet who's going to deadlift 800 pounds. I'm going to do it. I can't do it before the end of tax season, obviously, because I'm a CPA. I'm going to be busier than crap. But I'm going to do it here. I'm assuming by the end of June. All right. And then I'm going to go through and tell you my journey and what it took to get here, because I don't think you guys are going to understand. I went through 3 surgeries. I had another injury that took me out for 16 months where I had a piece of gym equipment malfunction on me. So for me to get back to this level, right, and how I did it and how I did it drug-free and the fact that I'm moving the type of weights that I'm moving, I think would surprise many, many, many people. And I don't think a lot of people understand at the gym, I'm actually 58. They see me lift all these heavy weights and they think I'm younger. All right. So I believe as long as I don't get another crazy ass injury pop up here, I'm going to be deadlifting over 800 pounds when I'm 60 years old. All right. So anyways, I hope everyone's going to, participate in this journey of mine, me telling you my secrets of how you can become one of the best deadlifters in the country. But anyways, I also have a platform of my own, which is called communityreviews.org. All right, communityreviews.org. It's the only one-sided review platform in the world. And what that means is that you can tell your story about anybody, because I do it based on commonly available information, like a phone number, an email address, right? A brick and mortar address, however they operate online. Doesn't matter if it's a website, if it's a YouTube channel, right? A dating profile, or like a license plate number, or anything that identifies personal property. So the site is actually pretty damn cool. And I have a lot of stuff in there I can't even tell you about on YouTube, because they would strip my channel down. But the world is moving into a great place. So please go over there and check out that channel, right? communityreviews.org. I do have a podcast over there. So everyone, anyways, I hope you guys enjoy everything I have to talk to you about, but I will teach you, right, how to get extremely strong and extremely fast, and do it drug-free, and do it literally training twice a week if that's what you want to do. Back in the day, I used to do it 3 days a week, but I used to be at what's called a 10-day week. But we're getting into what a 10-day week is. Anyways, everyone, I hope you enjoyed this journey where John Maddox tells you all of his secrets. Anyways, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.